deadlock or gridlock or political blame game or systematic failure started. I know I have interviewed you, that time you have joined us, you have given news to the English news and Bengali news as well. What you have seen practically in Washington, and how you have seen the media's difference news is coming, because both the houses are led by Republicans, presidency is with Republicans, but things are stuck with the consensus of Democrats.
Well, I mean, almost 60 votes are required to reopen the government, and even yesterday, even on the 14th day, 49-45 vote counting had happened. But you were asking me about what I've seen in Washington, D.C., and to be very frank and honest, I actually left one of the subway stations or the metro stations, what they call it in Washington, D.C., and of course, almost all the entrances of major metro stations are guarded by the National Guard, and even there was a instance where they were checking up on a regular citizen of America while I was watching from the street line, and they were complaining that there are people with AK-47s guarding a subway station for apparently no use. So it's another usage of state civil agencies against the people, which of course does not bring any positive result. Even in a couple of days ago, we've seen how J.B. Pritzker of Chicago, and how the protest has been rampant in Chicago with a lady attacking an ICE vehicle, and of course she was gunned down, and all of these violence that is happening really is uncalled for. And you know that the midterm election is coming up a couple of days, a couple of months from now. Of course, that will hold a very important issue or important solution towards American democracy, we would call it. But as of now, even the last shutdown was 35 days long.
Yes.
Whether or not this shutdown will be prolonging that last record really depends on what Donald Trump has in his mind right now. But one of the things that he has done, even after visiting his Middle East tour as of recent, he had awarded the Medal of Freedom posthumously towards Charlie Kirk. He made sure that he had done that on his birthday. Of course, the world has lost someone who is very supportive of the Donald Trump administration. But once again, to be fair, whether or not he is a possible candidate for a peace, a Nobel Peace Prize, if you would call it, still is a matter of question in America. He had tried his level best to attain that kind of fame.
Yeah, Shamsul Alam Pantho, you have been noticed that Professor M. Shahiduzzaman has given so much of ingredients, so much of inputs, so much of materials that we can discuss hours. But I want to do a question to you, as you also were telling in the off-air to me regarding these events. My question is, what triggered the recent border clash between Pakistan and Afghanistan forces in the Kurram district, and how did each side describe the incident from their own perspective?
Let me open this discussion towards the previous news that we've heard. We know that on this show we are always looking towards information that is updated and relevant. But if it's according to Afghanistan, a couple of days ago we've heard the United States government trying to take recontrol of the Bagram Air Base, which rightfully belongs under the Taliban government right now. But of course, as Mr. Shahiduzzaman was saying, the leader of the Taliban, Amir Khan Muttaqi, was in New Delhi meeting his counterpart, Mr. Ajit Doval. Of course, this sets a new tone for Pakistan, a new front for Pakistan, if you would like to call it. Back in May, we've seen how India and Pakistan had shared a confrontation on one of its flanks, Kashmir namely so. But right now, Pakistan has another problem in its other flank towards Afghanistan. Of course, I'm not sure, but as far as I know, that in border clashes between the rival components between the two nations is what caused fighting to take place. And according to today's news, new border clashes are breaking out between Pakistani and Afghan forces following a brief ceasefire. So once again, Pakistan is in the crossroads between how to deal with its issue. And of course, we know a part of Pakistan, the Balochistan Liberation Army, or the BLA, is an outright competitor of the Pakistan Army, and not only so, the Pakistani Authority. But this year or so, even in Egypt, we see Donald Trump and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, standing almost next to each other while giving the individual speeches in Egypt. So it just shows, comes to show that how the US and Pakistan have a strategic tie, given that Afghanistan and India are creating geopolitical tensions for Pakistan. And of course, in the coming days, we'll see how far or so the Pakistani administration, how they will handle this issue.
Yes. How is Pakistan's current stance toward the Afghan-led government and militant groups operating across the border areas described by analysts, and what new normal is being suggested?
Well, the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, so there is a form of Taliban which wanted or is running in Pakistan, which Pakistani government must acknowledge, if not remove, for its own safety and benefit. But I want to come back to, if this were to escalate, what the Saudi position is. If you look at Iran, is a direct neighbor of Afghanistan and if not Pakistan as well.
Both. Yeah.
Both. So, but Iran, if it sides with Afghanistan, Saudi will be pressured to defend Pakistan militarily, according to the deals that they made earlier. But if you look this year and how Pakistan has been dealing with multiple issues, it's not just infighting between regional characters, it's also environmental issues, the flooding in of the Swat River. All of these have pressured Pakistan to a point where they must now recalibrate what their national role is, as far as I understand. But of course, even 2 or 3 days ago, we've seen how Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has supported Donald Trump's peace effort towards the Middle East, including Israel and Gaza. But if it comes to the issues with Afghanistan and how they are now definitely have the right to determination, that will be questioned if America were to step in. But Pakistan is not trying to create such an issue of this, as it understands the neighboring India is always provoking such actions with other surrounding Pakistan.